We're still living it. We're still doing mimosas. It's the first week of the college basketball season. We are not slowing down here at FTN. I'm Mike Randle. Follow me on X at Randle Rant. We are killing it here with college basketball. First weekend, Friday, Saturday games. I'm coming to you today. I'm coming to you tomorrow at 11 a.m. to preview the games and get the picks. Now, listen, early in the season, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. It's up and down because we're adjusting. What do we know? What don't we know? What things matter? What doesn't matter? Michigan State losing to James Madison with a tremendous comeback last night for James Madison. Obviously, not as big a deal as many people would have thought. So those are things that we're learning. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that our own Mike Kutry is already off and flying. He is up over 44 units right now, 45 units here. Join us at FTN. You see the promo code FTN wins, get you 10% off there on the bottom if you haven't joined us. For anyone that's new, what I do is I go through all the games, my picks, my thoughts, strong leans, slight leans, things like that. Get you the picks. I'll put them in the tracker, get into our Discord. We will get through it and get you all the answers. I see the comments flying in. Here we go. Hi, Roland. You're here, baby. It's time. You know it's time. Mimosas are ready to go. Yes, Niall, mimosas are here. We're still celebrating. It's a week-long party for college basketball. Austin M jumped in. Monmouth, West Virginia. Oh, my friend, I have some thoughts, and we will get to that in a minute. So let's go through it, get these games going here, get what we think and our thoughts, and get them ready to go back and give you all the information you need. Here we go, folks. Kick it off. Liberty minus 4.5 versus Charlotte. And my thoughts on this game are the following. Liberty, Richie McKay, tremendous coach for the Liberty Flames. Now, no Darius McGee, 2,300-point scorer, legend for Liberty. He is gone. Here's the issue. Charlotte was coached by Ron Sanchez, who is a Tony Bennett disciple, as Richie McKay is. He left and returned to Virginia, and Aaron Fern took over. His assistant is now the head coach. They also lost their top two players from last year. They lost Bryce Williams, who left, and Ali Khalifa, both of which transferred. So now, even though the game is in Charlotte, it is not on Charlotte's campus. It is at a neutral site, so it's semi-away. Liberty comes in, very experienced team. Liberty was great last year, couldn't get to the tournament, but very strong. This is a pick on McKay. This is a pick on a Liberty team against a first-year head coach who took over the program late in Charlotte and lost their two major scorers. It's not even a home game. Liberty still hits their threes. They're scalding hot. They have three seniors and a junior who start, and they have four players on the team that shoot 38% or better from three-point range. In their first game, I know it's Mid-Atlantic Christian, I get it, but they were 17 of 34. This is a veteran Liberty team. I like them. I'm going to lay the points here against Charlotte. Charlotte, at a semi-home game, not buying it. Richie McKay, all he does is win. Disciplined program. We're taking Liberty minus 4.5 to start. Next game, Xavier minus 15.5 against Jacksonville. Dolphins have lost 5 of their last 6 scorers. Now they're playing at Xavier. Now, Xavier has lost its top 6 scorers from last year. So this is not for the faint of heart. I would not say this is an overwhelming play, but I do like it, and I'm going to put it in the tracker. Xavier scores at home, 83.6 points per game. Sean Miller, that's what he does. Last year, they were over 83 points at home, 77 points in their opener against Robert Morrison. They did get 25 from Desmond Claude. Davian McKnight has come over from Western Kentucky. Great point guard in the backcourt, great defender. Ubu Osmane, who is the strong 6'10 center who came over from North Texas, he's played well. Quincy Oliveri can score. It's not an easy pick. I just don't like Jacksonville losing players here going to Xavier. It's very tough to play in Xavier. They have a system, Sean Miller. Yes, they don't have the top players that they want. They don't have Zach Fremantle. They're missing Jerome Hunter. Looks like they're both going to be out for the year for medical conditions, which is a problem. But Xavier at home has been a good, solid pick. Jacksonville coming in, no continuity. If this was a Jacksonville team that had veterans coming in and a strong core, I'd be a little worried. I'm not worried here. Xavier minus 15.5. I'm going to stay on Youngstown State. I'm going to go against Michigan again. They burned me in that first game against UNC Asheville, but the major reason was Drew Pember, who is the main focus of everything that UNC Asheville does, has 3 fouls in the first half. That's a killer. They went away. They got up 20 points and the game was over. So barring something like that, I think Youngstown State is going to stay in this game. A lot of experience at Youngstown State. They start 4 fifth-year players and a junior. They had some transfers come over. They even have a 7-footer inside who had 4 fouls. Emmanuel Zogaval, who got in foul trouble in their first game. I continue to fade Michigan. Yes, they shot very well. Doug McDaniel was big. I love Doug McDaniel. Olivier Nkamwa, who came over from Tennessee, also looked great with 25. but my priors from last year have continued to work this year. Hubert Davis didn't cover. Mike White, I went against him because of the injuries in Oregon. He didn't cover in that first game. And FAU, of course, off to a great start. So I'm staying with it. I will adjust this line. If Michigan ends up being better than I thought it was, I will adjust these picks. But right now I'm going with Youngstown State and taking the 17 against Michigan. We are going to continue to fade Louisville. Of course we are. There are 9 new players for Dan Earl's Chattanooga team, but you know they can shoot the three. Honor Huff comes from VMI. He can fill it up. Jan Zedek, the Pepperdine big man inside, is a versatile European-like player. Louisville, 2 of 14 from three-point range in that first game against UMBC, and they should have lost it. They won only by 1. They did not cover. I think Louisville is a train wreck. I think they're going to have to revamp everything. I don't buy it. This is still a line that's affecting Louisville with their reputation. Don't like it. Kenny Payne will be gone at the end of this year. Chattanooga, new players, little risky, shoot the three, high variance, fading Louisville, and will continue to do so. I was impressed with Maryland. I don't like Kevin Willard, but this is a bigger wager basically on Maryland minus the 10.5 than it is on the under. I like the under, but I think Maryland get very hot here. This is still not Bob McKillop leading Davidson. It's his son, Matt McKillop. Didn't have a great first season with Davidson, Matt McKillop. They were 16-16, 8-10, the A-10, and they lost their top 2 players from last year, guard and forward. Maryland was very impressive in their opening game, especially on defense. Reese looked great, and Maryland didn't even shoot well. Jameer Young can fill it up. They were 3 of 16 from three-point range as a team. If they had actually put some points on the board, they would have blown this out. They will shoot better tonight. Friday night, College Park, Davidson, inexperienced coach, lost their top 2 players. I think Maryland wins, and I like the under. I like the spread more than the under, but I'll lay the points here with Maryland. No idea on this one. No idea why Ohio State is favored. And look, I liked Ohio State last year to start the year, but they struggled. Then they got incredibly hot at the end of the season. So where are they now? I don't think they should be a favorite over Texas A&M. Aggies are tough on defense, played well in that opening game. No Julius Marble, who's away from the team, who's a key scorer inside because of a university process, whatever that means. But Coleman and Hayden Hefner have played well in his absence. They were 11 of 28 from three-point range. They can score it. I trust Buzz Williams. This team was predicted second in the SEC this year behind Tennessee, and I think this should be number 1. Little preview to my pick later on. I am taking Texas A&M as underdog against Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State has solved their problems. They got hot at the end of last year, but are the players on that team really ready to step up? Or you're going to get big-time performances. Ohio State is banking on the fact that they are going to get big-time scoring performances from players such as Roddy Gale, okay, and that they're going to get big performances from Bruce Thornton. They got Zed Key coming off the bench now. Felix Opara, I don't see it. Barely beat Oakland 79-73, did not cover in that opening game. Now they have a team that's going to get after them, that's going to play defense, that is well coached. No, thank you. Taking Texas A&M plus 1.5. Here you go. Monmouth plus 14 against West Virginia. We are going to fade West Virginia yet again until further notice. Still no Kirk Kriisa in this game. That opening game, West Virginia did cover, but they probably shouldn't have. They just couldn't score the ball, but they got lucky. Only 35.7% from two-point range. Just Missouri State was ice cold. Monmouth is usually a very good team. Joined the CAA last year with King Rice as head coach. 7 of 26 overall, 5 and 12 in the CAA. Terrible start. They were 1-20 and 0-8 to start the year, but King Rice got Monmouth going. They're very live in these spots. They've played at West Virginia before. Rice's son, Xander Rice, is the point guard. He's also a very good scorer who could thrive in this setting. I think it's too many points. 14 is fine. I think it's come down a little bit. I'm taking the points with Monmouth at West Virginia. Going to continue to fade them in what I think is going to be a rough season. One of my favorite picks here. Now, listen, I said this about Iona. Iona went down and stuck it to Charleston, who could not score at all in that matchup. I'm going to go back to it again. Let's take a look at that Charleston game against Iona because I got a lot to say. Iona goes into Charleston, they lose by 2, and they did actually cover. But Charleston shot 1 of 28 from three-point range. A team that's normally on fire from three-point range shot 1 of 28. So I think that tells you all you need to know. You look at Iona, they were only 5 of 20 from 3. They were able to hang around, which was really shocking, but they did. In this spot, now they're going home against Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart is very good. They are underrated. They are the NEC preseason team to win, and Sacred Heart is going to bring you the preseason NEC Player of the Year Inside, Nico Gillette, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 3 steals. He's a tremendous player. This is the best team that Anthony Latina has had at Sacred Heart. They are the favorite in the NEC. They're getting 9.5 points here at Iona. People are still into Iona because of what happened last year. Love Sacred Heart, and I like them on the money line again tonight. Love Sacred Heart getting 9.5 at Iona. Listen, I'm going to fade Mike White. This number has come down, even though people are backing Georgia. The bets are on Georgia. The money is on Wake Forest. I think it's a coaching mismatch here. I don't like Mike White. And the reason I don't like Mike White is not just because it's personal. It's because I don't think his offense is very creative. So now you have Georgia in their home opener. I get it. They got crushed by an Oregon team that was coming limping in with some injuries. Don't like them in this spot at all. They were 10 of 30 from three-point range against Oregon. Wake Forest is going to be able to score. I also expect better defense tonight from Wake Forest than you normally are going to see. Steve Forbes is an excellent coach. I think it's a coaching mismatch. They put up 101 points against Elon. Cameron Hildreth, they were able to shoot, get up and down the floor. Hunter Salas has come over from Gonzaga. He's a versatile guy who can do a lot. This is a pick on coaching. And when I'm torn like this and it's close, I tend to go with the better coach, and that's what I'm going to do in this situation. Yes, it's Georgia's home opener. No, it's not going to be as much of a wager as some of the other ones, but Steve Forbes and Wake Forest as an underdog, when the money is coming in on Wake Forest, I like it. Give me them fading Mike White yet again. There's some issue with Kentucky. I am normally not a Kentucky person, and I admit they've underachieved in the last few years, and really the Buzzards are coming after John Calipari and for his job. But Kentucky's line against New Mexico State, a program that was basically given the death penalty for half a year last year, that was crazy. And everyone was pounding against Kentucky. I think Kentucky's fine. I think they're fine in this spot against Texas A&M Commerce. They were able to shoot some shots, get up and down the floor, athletic. They were able to score. The guards look good. They made some shots from outside. So I'm laying the points with a solid program, a talent discrepancy, who was supposed to stumble in the opening game, didn't really stumble much at all. I think they come out ready to go tonight. I'm laying the big number. As I'm doing here with Purdue and Morehead State, Purdue looked dominant. They were up 21-2 in that matchup. That first matchup opening night there, just tremendous against a Longwood team that is actually pretty good. So now I'm supposed to have them come home against Morehead State, and they're playing Morehead State, and I'm supposed to be afraid of that, and I'm not. It was 98-45. Zach Edey, very solid game. They were 16 of 29 from three-point range, Purdue was. If the guards like Braden Smith and the guards like Fletcher Lawyer can start making threes, and they were 8 of 11. They were sporadic last year, but they look like they're more consistent. They're a year older. Both of them are solid sophomores. This team looks good. I'm laying the points here against Morehead State. I have no concern with that. Morehead State is always in the mix, but lost players from last year's team. They lost to Alabama, game up 105. Purdue's going to lock them down on defense and can score as well. I see it's a 30-point win, and I'm taking it again. You know, VCU lost a lot, and I think Samford is a team that people are just not really on. Samford is a team that gets up and down the floor, that plays very hard with Bucky McMillan, has tremendous pace. Purdue, not Longwood. They played Purdue. They got blown out right away, and they just couldn't continue it going. They're going to be here against VCU. You know, VCU is on reputation. Ryan Odom has come down here. He is a good coach, but I'm concerned this team lost to McNeese State at home, 76-65. So you may think it's a bounce back. I think it's a transition year for Ryan Odom. He lost a lot of players. There's not a lot of continuity on this team. Head coach went to Penn State. Star guard Ace Baldwin is not there anymore. So I think this is a bit of an adjustment. Here comes Samford, who can get up and down the floor as well, create turnovers, make some shots, do a really nice job. I think it's too many points. I think this is a VCU line that is based on what they've done in the past. Keep those comments coming. I will get them going here. Taylor, you got it, man. No problem. We'll get back to some of these other ones. Yep. And we'll get into them in a minute. Sorry, just going back and forth here. So we got the comments flying, and we'll certainly get to those as well. Auburn looked good. They fell apart late against coming down the stretch. They fell apart late in a game against Baylor that I thought they were going to win, but I came away really impressed with Auburn. I think Bruce Pearl has a good team this year. They struggled late, but this is a team that made some threes. Johnny Broom looked good inside. Denver Jones didn't have a great game. I'm going to go back to him because his scoring is going to translate to the Auburn Tigers. A lot of blocks, 10 blocks, active inside. This is their home opener. Eastern Louisiana. Don't like it. Good team, veterans, balance, aggressive defense at home. I'm going to take them in these spots. And more often than not, i.e. Purdue, they have hit. Same thing I'm doing here with Arkansas and Gardner Webb. I am very high in Arkansas this year. They showed me something. They struggled last year. They had injuries across the board. Trevon Brazile was out, but they still found a way to gut it out and play really well in the tournament. Arkansas, despite being shorthanded, they beat Illinois. They end up beating Kansas by 1, and then they gave Connecticut a decent game before struggling there and just running out of gas, like what Eric Musselman does. They had a big 34-point win over Alcorn State to start. They have Deontay Davis. They have El Ellis, who's just happy to be out of Louisville. Trevon Brazile. Tremont Mark has come over. He was 4-6 from three-point range from Houston, so he brings some toughness. This is not the spot. Good team, at home, inferior opponent, quality talent, high-end talent, good coach, enough. These are the games that I like early on. I think these lines are too short. I love Dayton this year. I don't know why they're getting 5.5 against Northwestern. Northwestern looked a little shaky in their opener. You're going to give me 5 points with Dayton in this spot. I like it. Jerron Holmes inside has played well. They beat SIU Edwardsville in their opening game. Holmes was a dominant force. He's looking to get to the league. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks inside. They still have Kobe Ellis. They still have players in the backcourt who can score. Kobe Brea can light it up. And you have Northwestern, who I like Northwestern, but Northwestern plays at that slow pace, and they keep teams in it. They played Binghamton 72-61. That game was very close with about 10 minutes left. That game was basically a 1-point game. Yes, you have Boo Buie. Yes, you have Brooks Barnholzer, but that's it. That was 40 of their 72 points. Barnheiser and Buie, 40 of those points. Langborn, Nicholson isn't great inside. He's solid. Ty Berry, I think there's going to be an adjustment here because really it's just Boo Buie. Barnheiser has to play well. Chase Audige is someone they're really going to miss. Slow pace with the Northwestern team. Good team I like in Dayton that I have a Final Four future on. Well coached. Like it across the board here. 5.5. Too much. Wisconsin plus 2.5 versus Tennessee, and I'm taking Wisconsin money line. Folks, all you need to know about the Big Ten is that Wisconsin put up over 100 points. You know they're going to play defense. You know they have continuity. Super impressive. Hitting threes, that's a problem. Now listen, I like Wisconsin on the money line. Tennessee is a top 10 team. They're going to play defense. If you want to get the under, that's fine, but the line is ticked down a little bit much here. It's almost like it's too low that I'm nervous with the over under line. Wisconsin plus 2.5. Disciplined team at home, make shots, and really impressed. You know, the reason we had success with Florida Atlantic last year was because they were a veteran team. They had great cohesion. They played selfless basketball. They had a big man inside. They shot threes. They played at multiple pace. They played defense, and they had a solid coach. Wisconsin has the same sort of thing. I think Wisconsin is a sleeping giant in the Big Ten. Nobody talks about them because they don't play an exciting brand of basketball, but Tennessee's going to come in and play slow. That's what Wisconsin wants. It's a coin flip game. I'm taking Wisconsin plus 2.5 and the money line. Memphis, very solid. Missouri has a great backcourt, but Missouri can get hot and cold here. They're going to play a Memphis team that is going to be just as physical. You know, Memphis was the only team that could push around Houston when they would play in the AAC. This is a tough game for them tonight. They had an opening game over Arkansas Pine Bluff. Missouri, Nick Honor is great, 4 of 10 from three-point range. Caleb Grill can be hot and cold. He was only 1 of 6. Remember, he was the one who left Iowa State. Noah Carter, very solid. Sean East from UMass, but not a lot on the bench with this team. I like this Memphis team. I think this is a style that Memphis is going to like to play. I like them getting points in this spot. They blew out Jackson State. They hung 94 points. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to play defense. Normally, Missouri is the one who wants to get after you. Missouri is the one who's usually going to have an advantage in the backcourt. That is not the case here with Memphis. And they've adjusted without Kendrick Davis. They have David Jones. They have Javon Quinterly. He came over from Alabama, so he has certainly had experience being a point guard. Malcolm Dandridge, Nick Jourdain, Caleb Mills came over from Houston. This team can score. I like Memphis getting 2 points here in what I think is a coin flip game. I have one more game left. San Diego State plus 2 against BYU. I love Mark Pope. People love BYU, but I'm impressed with this San Diego State team. I think they're going to be very tough defensively on BYU. BYU hung 110 points on Houston Christian, but is not going to be used to the type of defense that they're going to see here. BYU, Spencer Johnson, Noah Waterman, guys who love to shoot the threes, and Trevor Neal, Noah Waterman, Spencer Johnson, 2 of 9, 3 of 6, 5 of 9. That is combined 10 of 23 from three-point range. They got the majority of their points, but the problem is they're playing a San Diego State team tonight that locks you down defensively, especially at the three-point arc. Last year, they allowed the 4th best rate fourth best defense against the opposing three-pointer. San Diego State last year only allowed 28.3% of three-pointers against them to go in. That was fourth best in the country. If you can limit BYU shooting and you can get the second chance points, you're going to be fine against them. So giving me 2 points, I think, is a gift. I will take them here. Let's get to the questions, then we will get out of here. Yeah, Niall, I looked at this one, this Duquesne game. Let me pull it up. I thought a lot about this. This one is curious to me. So Duquesne tonight, what do we have the spread at that at? Is it 2, I think? It's one of the earlier games. Duquesne tonight. Yeah, sorry, hold on. Duquesne tonight is playing, Charleston, and they're now flipped, and they're getting 1.5. My initial read was Duquesne. My initial read, Niall, was Duquesne getting the points. I'm just concerned about Duquesne because I struggle sometimes when they're home. Day Grant, 3 of 9 from three-point range. Jimmy Clark, Drame, the big man inside, was solid. My lean was Duquesne. It's just Charleston shot so poorly in that first game against Iona. I think there's going to be some regression. That's why I stayed away from it, but I'm fine with the Duquesne money line. Taylor, UMass, Lowell, Dartmouth. I like the matchup for the Riverhawks. I do as well. Wasn't one of my top picks. I don't want them laying 4.5. I mean, it was around 4.5. It's getting up there. You know, UMass as a 4.5. It was a 1.5. I take it, but I was a little concerned about that. That's why I stayed away. The play is UMass Lowell or nothing. Dartmouth at home, Ivy League rivalry game. Made proximal rivalries where I'm laying a lot of points on the road. I just don't like there. Arizona, Duke. Yeah, I'll have a pick out for this later. Right now, my instinct is Arizona. Duke is going to need their center to play tonight. And if they don't have the center playing, it's going to be Mark Mitchell. It's going to be a problem. I was impressed with Arizona's offense, and Caleb Love actually was conservative and played within himself. So I think there's a talent discrepancy here. It's too many points. I get it. Filipowski's going to be a problem, but if they can't rebound inside, the athleticism of Arizona, I lean Arizona on this one. I'll pick out in the tracker later, Cody, but right now it's leaning towards Arizona plus 9.5. Al, what do you think about Penn versus St. Joseph's? The first response to me was Penn. I love Steve Donahue, so you want me to go back? I'm a BC guy, so I gotta have a soft spot for Steve Donahue here. Penn was good against Bucknell. We got to the window in that one. It was 14 or 15 points. Now they're playing St. Joseph. The game is away, but I think they're getting too many points. I would lean Penn. I would lean Penn getting the points here. Let me see what that's at right now. Yeah, it's down to 6.5. I'll take the points with Penn because I'm impressed. That's a team the Penn can shoot it. They can score. They were good against Bucknell. They gave it back a little bit late, but they did go a 3 of 8. Tyler Perkins was great, 24 points, 3 of 8 from three-point range. I don't think St. Joe's is anything special. I'll take Penn with the points there. I think that's all we got, folks. So that's it. We'll be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. for Big Saturday slate. Picks are going in the bet tracker. As always, folks, best time of year. Love the mimosa in the morning. Now we're in the afternoon. It's Friday happy hour somewhere. Mike Randle, FTN Bets. We're rolling college basketball, folks. We will see you again tomorrow. Let's get to the window.